Problem number 1. Everybody, what's the amplitude? 2. Your period is defined as 2 pi over the b value. What's the b value? 4. Reduce this. Now, you take this and cut it into 4 parts. Now, if it's a fraction, multiply by a 4. If it's a whole number, divide by 4. So pi over what? 8. And this is 1 down. You are going to count by pi over 8. That's your count, by pi over 8. So right here, you've got 1 pi over 8, 2 pi over 8, 3 pi over 8, 4 pi over 8. And go the other way. We want 2. This is the hardest part. Okay, now we're gonna put our graph on. Where do you do? Where's your new x-axis? -1. It's all old stuff from Friday from here on. And now what does the cosine graph look like? And it's a -2.
Start.
We're gonna start 2 down. On. Above. On. Huh? Yeah, 2 is your amplitude. 2. It's like this. And then you're gonna go the other way, right? And I would label your, as long as you put 1 label on your y-axis, that's good. Do you get this? Okay, next one. Thumbs up, everybody. Yes? Okay, number 2. What's our amplitude? 3. Our period, 2 pi over, what's b? 2. What's 2 pi over 2? Pi. Cut this into 4.
Pi over 4.
Yep, and it's 2 up, right? So we're gonna count by pi over 4. 1 pi over 4, 2 pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, and 4 pi over 4. So we have 1 pi over 4,
So last one just negative pi.
2
Or
pi over...
pi.
Yes. Did everybody hear what he said? The last ones are pi, it's pi and negative pi. Yes, that's 1 pi and that's negative pi. Now, what's our graph gonna look like? You're gonna do what? Make a broken line, not a solid line. Broken means it's not part of the graph. And it's the sine curve with an amplitude of 3, but it should be going backwards. So normally, on the sine curve, we started here and go 3 up. What are we gonna do here? We're gonna go 3 down. And please make these curvy, don't make them point, I know it's hard sometimes. The higher the amplitude is, it's hard to make them curvy. So your amplitude is 3. It should be 3 off of the x-axis. Thumbs up on that one? Ashley, you're making a face. Tell me what's that. Messed up? Who does not understand this?
Wait, why don't you start below and go to the left?
Start, you mean right here?
Yeah.
It's the sine,
Just continuing it.
the sine curve starts on. It's on and normally goes above, but because it's a negative, you go down.
I know, I'm saying I'm gonna left on the other side. Then my negative.
You get it? Okay. Number 3, what's the amplitude?
4.
Or
4. What's the b value, by the way?
1/2.
It's 1/2. Here, I'm gonna rewrite it for you.
So if there's a t, it's just 1.
Yes, it's 1, the coefficient in front of t is 1/2. That's your b value. So you're gonna take 2 pi and divide it by 1/2. What do you get? What's 2 pi divided by 1/2? 4 pi. Now cut this into how many portions? 4. What do you get? Pi. And then it's 1 up. So you're counting by 1 pi. So you got 1 pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, and 4 pi. -1 pi, -2 pi, -3 pi, -4 pi. Okay, what do I do next? I'm gonna make a dotted line where? 1 up, because it's a shift 1 unit up. And then the cosine graph, what does a cosine graph look like? It's gonna start 4 above this, 1, 2, 3, it's gonna look like a cup, right? Out of curiosity, what's the maximum value? What's the max? 5. What's the min? -3. Who's lost? I'll put that up there for a second. It's a shift 1 unit up, and then the amplitude is 4. 4 units above that. The cosine graph starts 4 above. Do you guys understand this? Yes or no? Anybody not?
Yep.
Okay, let's do the next one. What's the amplitude on this one? 3, good. How do you do the period? 2 pi over 1/2, which means what? Good. Cut this into what? 4 pi over 4, and you get pi. You're gonna count by 2. So you're counting by pi, right? 1 pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi. -1 pi, -2 pi, -3 pi, -4 pi. And this is a graph 3 units up, or 2 units up, I'm sorry. 2 up. 2 up. And it's the cosine graph. What does the cosine graph look like? But it's a negative.
Upside down cup.
Upside down cup. With an amplitude of 3. It looks like that. Upside down cup. Or a bell. Or an M.
How would you get the first plug and negative
How do you get the what?
plug and negative
This, oh, this one right here? Because it's a shift 2 units up, and the cosine graph starts, it normally starts high, but because it's a negative, it's gonna start 3 below.
Oh, okay.
This is 3 below right here. 1, 2, 3, that's when you get -1. Do you get this? Yes? Okay, how about, let me hear you on number 5.
2,
2,
1/2,
4 pi over,
2. Or,
what's that?
no, it's 2 pi over,
Oh, 2
2
pi,
pi
I'm sorry.
over 4.
Oh, 2
half
pi over
pi.
4. Thank Thank you. And then what do you do with this? Cut it into 4 parts, so it's pi over 8.
Okay.
In this one, there is no vertical shift. So write none. So what are we counting by? Pi over 8. So what does my graph look like? 1/8, 2/8. Don't reduce, you can just leave it. 3/8, it makes it easier for me to check this, 4/8. But you know that pi over 4 pi over 8 is pi over 2. So we're at, you might want to double check that, see this pi over 2 and that's pi over 2. So we are actually going to complete the cycle by the time we reach pi over 2. And then go backwards. Amplitude is what? It's 2. Whoops, I went, this should be. There. Just ignore that, please. Good? One more,
I'm done.
one more. Amplitude is what? What's the period?
8 pi.
Anyone have it?
8 pi.
8 pi, good job. What are the increments now?
2 pi.
So how did you count?
2 pi, 4 pi, 6 pi, 8 pi.
2 pi, 4 pi, 6 pi, 8 pi. Now, is there a shift up or down?
No.
No, so what do I do from here?
Up
Go to
3.
the origin.
And go where? 3 up? Why 3 up?
Because amplitude of 3.
The amplitude's 3. What you're doing is multiplying the y values by 3. We talked about that on Friday. Watch the video.
Check.
Okay, check out your graph. Does it look symmetrical? Does it
Yeah.
look, do you have your off the x-axis 3? Did you graph 2 full periods?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, is there anyone with a question?
Let's do the